Hey, so we've spoken about, um, vision or MTP specifically, and I'll show you the difference just now. And we've spoken about a couple of other attributes, but that's about some of these attributes are. But how do you go about creating your own MTP or your business's MTP? And you need to spend a bit of time on this because it's very important. This is your first step, it's a critical step, and you really need this in order to roll out the rest of this exponential type organizations. And if you start out, it may be that you're a startup and your personal values, your personal MTP will be very aligned, as I mentioned before, to your business MTP. So it may be a very similar type of thing or very well aligned. You may be have an MTP and it might be that you have a serial entrepreneur, you're a serial entrepreneur, you have various businesses that you have different MTPs for. So they may be, if you take an example of Elon Musk, when he has, as I mentioned this before, when you have Starlink, you have his rockets, SpaceX, you have X, he has different MTPs. So, when he looks at his AI, he's saying how to understand the universe, to understand the universe, or understand the universe to be specific. So that's his MTP there. And his SpaceX is really to make us interplanetary species. So these are different MTPs from the same entrepreneur who's really about contributing, helping, if you like, saving humanity. Looking at the environment with his solar products and his transport, his electric vehicles, and also any existential threat to the planet. He's hoping to have us in space, in Mars, for another option. So that's just to give somebody who's done this thing and he's actually made it happen, and obviously one of the most successful in the world. So for you, you need to be thinking about, and you're going to spend some time to think about certain questions that you kind of want to address when you're going about creating your MTP. And it's not always easy because if you look at a vision and a mission, so a mission statement is really how you're going to achieve your vision. So a business mission is how it's actually going to roll out or get its product out, service out, how it's going to go about doing this in a mission statement. Whereas its vision is really how you see yourself or what you'd like to be perceived as. So a lot of them are generic, and they would say to be the leading business in this particular industry, and you might really, what you're talking about on a personal is if you see yourself as saving people with health, perhaps, and you're in the health industry, or you see people saving them from sin, if you're in church and religious industry, perhaps from suffering, if you're a personal development and so on, as psychologist, you're looking to help people with the less suffer less. That can also obviously be physical as well as psychological. And you may want to save people from poverty, food, starving, should I say, save them from starving. So that's what you're looking at as a vision, is how you see yourself doing that. An MTP is different. It's how you express this in the simplest of terms, and it's really also to explain the vision and the purpose at the same time. So what it is and why it's important. So, for example, I have a couple where my Exponential Entrepreneur Academy is really transforming Africa, South Africa, with exponential entrepreneurship. And I'm involved in environmental tours, youth tours. My wife's been doing for a very long time, and there what we're doing is we're really trying to save the planet, or save specifically wildlife, with environmental education. So those are the MTPs, the very simple ones, but it's something that you need because it's your North Star. So it's something that when you make decisions, major decisions in directions that you're going, you need to address it relevant to your MTP, and that's how you keep on track. Otherwise you can start to go in different directions. So these are all very important things that you need to think about when you're creating your first step, which is your MTP, your personal MTP for your life and your business, whether they're aligned or whether you do multiple industries based off of that. So here are some questions you might ask yourself, and I've got a list here. So, for example, what do you care deeply about? So what is something that's really important to you? Maybe to the point that you're worth fighting for, even giving your life up for. So how important is it to you? What do you actually want to build and create? What is it that you want to build or want to create? If you didn't have obstacles, what is it that you could create? If you in finance there was no obstacles, what is the ultimate thing that you could create? These are not easy to fathom out, and you don't have to make it perfect first off. You can write it down and get things going. What is the biggest problem you want to solve? So remember, a lot of these opportunities are solving a problem and providing a solution, a very big picture. So it may be a global picture, as I mentioned, starvation, poverty, these type of things. And there's not necessarily that you're the only one with that perhaps that type of vision, but that even your direct MTP may be different depending on how you're going to address this. What do I want to be remembered for with my legacy? So what legacy do you want to leave behind? What is it that you'd like to have been known for, that you've achieved in your time on the planet? And what could you do if you couldn't fail? So that's what I've mentioned already. If it was impossible for you to fail, what is it that you'd like to do or have done? So those are some of the things you need to think about. And MTP is obviously a massive transformative purpose. So it's something that's going to transform lives. And obviously the thing that's happening right now is being done through technology. We've always transformed ourselves as human beings through tools. Fire, weapons, bow and arrow specifically. These are big jumps that they took in our ever-changing evolution. So you're looking for an opportunity through a problem, through the solution, and you can always think when you start out, your business model can always pivot, your plan can always change, your customer segment, and a lot of times we'll talk about this later on MVP, your minimum viable product. So you're talking about something that you start out. And the feedback that you get, especially on a digital basis, you can get feedback very quickly on how you might change, and you might change not only your business model, but the actual product that you're looking to do, so the segment that you're in. And so there's many things that can change, but your MTP doesn't change. So that is your foundational block. It's the cornerstone of the rest of what you're going to be doing. And that's why it's so important to spend some time on this, to get it right, and to take it from there. So that's a little bit this time. We've spoken about the MTP as a first step. Next time we'll talk about building a community or forum, joining one. We'll talk a little bit about that, because that's the second step. I'm John Harris, and this is Exponential Radio, and we'll see you in the next episode.